Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Clips of the Week. This time it's a playoff edition. As we get ready for round one of the playoffs, we wish all of the teams who qualified the best of luck, and to all of the officials who will be working games in the postseason, we congratulate you and wish you the best of luck as well. With that, let's get into this week's Clips of the Week. Well, we're going to look at a variety of free kicks. And as we saw last week and over the course of the season, we're still seeing illegal pop-up kicks going unnoticed. So let's watch this play, and apologize for the choppiness of the video. But we want to look here and notice that, again, this is clearly an illegal pop-up kick. Now, our back judge is primary to see that the ball is kicked directly into the ground, and the ball clearly goes over the head of the players. We should be blowing this dead immediately. And again, our back judge is primary, and secondary on this would be our center judge or umpire. Now, as we let this play out, we're going to notice that our center judge throws a flag here, and they have a foul for an illegal block by K. However, if we fast forward a little bit into this, we're going to notice that after discussion, the crew is going to wave off the foul for an illegal block because the ball had gone 10 yards. So excellent communication here by the crew to wave that off. But again, we should have had an illegal pop-up kick on this play. And if we watch this from the end zone view, we're going to be able to see this again. And one thing we want to talk about is some additional communication that can happen on this play. In speaking with our state rules interpreter, we do agree that the back judge is primary to know that the ball was kicked directly into the ground, and our center judge or umpire would be secondary on that. However, our referee also has an excellent view at whether the ball goes above the heads of the players. And as I noted in a game that I worked in last week's episode, I had thought the same thing as the referee, and the referee in this game did the same thing. So in speaking with our SRI, if after further communication and you piece all of this together and it's determined that the ball was indeed an illegal pop-up kick, again, the referee would not know if this was correct kicked directly into the ground. But if after all consultation it is determined late that this was an illegal pop-up kick, we would encourage you to throw a flag. This is a dead ball foul. We'd enforce the 5-yard penalty, and we would re-kick. So we'll take a look here at two free kicks from the same game. And what we're going to notice is one of the up backs here is going to put their arm up in the air. Now, they don't wave it, but this looks like they're setting up a shield for a block on this return. And this goes unnoticed the first time around. And the kicking team coach talked to the officials and let them know to be on the lookout for that. They had seen that on film throughout the season. So as we watch another kickoff from the same game, we're going to notice that the player does this again. And this time it's noticed by the referee, who blows the play dead immediately. Now, this is not a PSK foul because this is a free kick, not a scrimmage kick. So this should be a foul for an invalid fair catch, which has a 5-yard penalty. But since this is a loose ball play, the kicking team is going to have the option of either having that enforced 5 yards from the previous spot, in which case they would kick again from the 45, or simply have the ball put in play where it was blown dead, in this case at the 10-yard line, which is likely what they would choose to do, but we would give them the option. Now, this play is a good example of watching film and looking for tendencies. This is a gap in our 5-player mechanics because our wings are watching blocks coming downfield on the outside. Our back judge and umpire or center judge are moving into the field to watch blocks in the middle. And our referee's focus is going to be on the returner, and this would be very hard to catch. So this is another reason why we want to watch film as we're prepping for our games, is to look for tendencies like this that we can talk about in our pregame. So yet another free kick here. And before we show the play, let's look here at the restricted area. And we have what appears to be dozens of players in the restricted area. And we're going to have someone who maybe looks like they're trying to get players back, but this is absolutely unacceptable. There's plenty of room on the sideline. There's no reason whatsoever that we should have this many this many players in the restricted area and our official letting this go. So our umpire or center judge there at midfield needs to turn around and get all of those players and coaches back. Now, as we let this play develop, we're going to notice here we get a surprise onside kick. The film is poor. I can't quite tell if this was a pop-up kick. We're going to say that it wasn't. And then we're going to notice that the kicking team fields the ball around the 49 or 48 yard line of the return team. So this ball has gone 10 yards. It's been grounded. So this is perfectly acceptable. But as we should know, the kicking team cannot advance a recovered free kick. And we can see there's probably some confusion here by our center judge, but they correctly kill this play. But if we go to the next play, we're going to notice that they put the ball in play at the 41. So they did not bring this back to the 48 or 49. So just a reminder that when the kicking team recovers a grounded free kick, they cannot advance the ball. The ball is simply brought back to where they recovered it, and it'd be 1st and 10 for the kicking team at that spot. Moving away from free kicks to a scrimmage kick. And as we all know, sometimes in football, we don't see the first perpetrator. We always catch the second player. And that happens on this play here. We're going to notice that right around the 45 of the return team, we're going to get a personal foul, unnecessary roughness by a member of the return team. And that goes unnoticed on the field. Now, the player, obviously upset, gets up and shoves him, and that is caught by both our line judge and our back judge. So, unfortunately, we missed the first one here. And if we go back to our mechanics here, the wide side of the field is towards the head linesman side, so our back judge will move that direction. Our line judge will move downfield once the snap is possessed. But then we need our head linesman to also get downfield as well. And while the back judge could have possibly got this, maybe even the line judge, they have a lot to look at here as the ball is towards the line judge's sideline. Our head linesman has barely gone downfield. They should be looking at the wash here. And unfortunately, we let this play by the return team go. And then, unfortunately, we catch the second player. What's interesting about this play is whether or not, had we caught it, would we have called this a live ball and then dead ball, or 2 dead ball fouls? One would offset, the other wouldn't. So, again, the most important thing here is to make sure we don't go without noticing the first action here. Unfortunately, we missed it and only caught the retaliation, and we flagged that one. So this is a very interesting play, and it's on a PAT. And what we're going to notice is that the team on offense lines up in a normal PAT position, and our snapper places their hands on the ball. That's important. So as we notice here, the snapper does have their hands on the ball, and then there's a shift to a swinging gate formation. Now, what's important here is that if you look in your casebook and look at Rule 725 Situation E, once the snapper has placed their hands on the ball, all players in between the ends become ineligible, even if they shift to an eligible position. That includes the snapper. So when the team on offense shifts, now by position, the snapper is eligible because they're on the end of the line. However, because they placed their hands on the ball before the shift, they became ineligible by rule. So now once the ball is snapped, that player goes downfield and is in the end zone at the time the pass is released. The rest of the line is pretty close to being ineligible downfield. We'd give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, but we know that the snapper is at least 4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage at this point, and the pass does go beyond the line of scrimmage. The crew did award this a successful 2-point try, but then thought about this later and sent this in. So a very interesting play. So if we do see an offense set up in this formation and they place their hands on the ball before the shift like this, all those players in between the ends are ineligible. Now, 2 more things on this. First, as we watch the shift, had the defense encroached, we could possibly have a false start here. This is a pretty sudden shift and change. and we would support an encroachment call there. Secondly, this play was not brought up in the pregame meeting by the coach. And again, we stress to the coaches in our pregame meeting when we ask if you have any special plays or formations, we do this to make sure that we're running the play legally and to prevent things from happening. So again, please be honest with us when we ask you about this in our pregame meetings. So we're going to see two similar plays here that involve botched PATs and the dreaded inadvertent whistles. Now, the first one, what we're going to notice is a snap that's not handled and a loose ball. And during the chase, we're going to get an illegal kick by the kicker right around the 21-yard line or so. Now, what happens here is our referee blows the play dead. Well, the ball was still loose. This is an inadvertent whistle, but we have a penalty, which would be likely accepted on this case. Now, this is an exception to the previous spot enforcement. We would enforce 10 yards for the illegal kick from the spot of the foul, and we'd have a retry. More importantly here, though, we have an inadvertent whistle, and this play is not over until the ball becomes dead. So while the likelihood of the offense picking this ball up and scoring is pretty slim, we have to let it play out. And we do know that the defense can't score. So if they had picked up the ball, that's when we would blow the play dead. So again, similar play here where we have a botched PAT. We have a snap that's not cleanly possessed. And then we're going to have a loose ball. And again, during the chase for the ball, we have the referee who blows the play dead. And the crew got together, realized that they had an inadvertent whistle, and they correctly replayed the try, obviously much to the dismay of the defensive team, and the try was successful. So again, just a reminder, when we have a try and the ball is loose, the play is not over until the ball is possessed by the defense or the offense, and they are downed in the field of play, or the try is no good. So our last play for this week involves some very good officiating on a change of possession play. And we know that sometimes on interceptions, these are the plays that set up well for illegal blocks, whether it's a blindside block or other illegal block. And we want to watch the action by the player here that's highlighted. And they're going to commit a foul here for spearing. Now, that's not a foul that we commonly call or language that we commonly use. I believe this may have been referred to the coach as a blindside block. And this is probably not a blindside block since it's from the front, and there's a potential for the player that was on offense, the player that's going to be blocked, to see this block coming. However, what we'll notice is that the blocker lowers their head and hits the player the shoulders or below with the crown of their helmet. And this is a foul for spearing. So we get a flag here for a personal foul call, which is correct. So not a blindside block, but spearing. But this was a correct call and administered properly by the crew. And again, on plays like this where we have a change of possession or a change of direction, in this case both, these set up well for a legal block. So excellent job here by the crew to pick up this foul for spearing. Well, that is it for this week's Clips of the Week. Again, best of luck to all of the players, coaches, teams, and officials in the upcoming playoffs. We wish all of you the best of luck. For all of the coaches and others that have sent in film throughout the season, again, thank you so much for the help in sending in film. It is very much appreciated. We'll continue to do these episodes throughout the playoffs, and we'll talk to you next week.